Whether you agree or disagree, or it just simply goes over your head, you can still quote me, because that's what I said.
Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Well, you're back for another episode of Native Talks, and this one's been delayed for a while due to my vacation and then due to me getting sick and going back to work. So it's been a kind of a gap between the last time you saw me. I do apologize for that. I'll get into more details about that later. But before we even get started, if you did not hear it from these two lips, then you've been lied to and you've been tricked. Because before you can repeat it or even start to debate it, you just better make sure that you heard me say it. All right, y'all. Since the last video that I did, it has been a lot going on in this world. There's been more shootings, murders, crime rate is just out the I can't, there's even no words to describe how crime has just gotten way out of control. There's things happening in our government, there's things happening in our society. I mean, it's like you don't even know which way to turn your head because it's just so many things going on. Um, I possibly cannot address all of the things that bother me. So I'm going to kind of break stuff up. And in different videos, you'll hear me discuss different things. The first thing that I want to address that was kind of brought to my attention was there's a teenage boy in high school in Vermont that is playing on the volleyball team. I thought it was the soccer team, but it's actually the volleyball team. Now, don't ask me what school this is. Somebody just brought this to my attention. And so they didn't quite bring the name of the school or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure you can Google the information and find out. I didn't Google it because just hearing what the subject matter was about was enough for me. I don't need to know the boy's name. I don't need to know the school to know what he has stirred, what kind of controversy he has stirred, and to know how I feel about it. That's all I need to know. But anyway, this boy in Vermont who plays on the volleyball team, he identifies as a girl. Now they say he has not done anything transition wise to change the way he looks to look like a girl or anything else. He's just basically saying that he identifies as a girl. And Vermont has a law passed that anytime a kid says that they identify as the opposite of what their physical DNA says they are, that the school has to accommodate their choice. So this boy coming out saying that he thinks he's a girl and he identifies as a girl, the school, you know, allowed him to join the girls' volleyball team. Now, if that wasn't enough, see, I already feel some type of way about that in general because, female sports has had to always try to prove that they were just as worthy and just as competitive and strong as male sports. And right when we get our foot in the door and we're able to make waves and females are able to display their talents and their gifts, then now here come the boys wanting to steal. I'm sorry, this is how I feel. I'm sorry. This is the way it is. It's like you can't compete in your own genre. So you're going to try to come over here. And the only way that you can come over here is saying that you believe you are like one of us. So then you come over here and you get to jump into our area, into our arena that we've worked so hard as females to prove that we are just as good. And now you're coming in and you're still in the spotlight from us. But this particular boy kind of took it a step further, because not only did he join this team and the school had to accommodate that, but now he's demanding to shower with the girls. Now, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like, the buck stops there. You know, I don't necessarily feel too cool about a boy who decides that he wants to go and play on the girls' team. That kind of bothers me. But if the school passed a law that says that, you know, the school has to accommodate that, that's for the school board and the administrators to have to carry that burden. I feel sorry for the girls, but nonetheless, if they manage to try to work with the boy, so be it. But I have issue with somebody demanding to shower with the opposite sex. See, you may feel that you're a girl, and you're a boy. I mean, can't nobody look, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to identify with, I can't take your choice away. But why are you demanding this? Why is it so important to you to specifically shower with the girls? If it was all about you feeling like you were a girl in a boy's body, excuse me, and you joined the team, I mean, you got the school and the school board to give you exactly what you wanted, to be able to play on the team with the girls and be identified as a girl. But why you gotta specifically shower with them when you know that your physical attributes are not the same as theirs? Look, when I took gym class when I was in school, I didn't even like showering with the girls. There's just a privacy issue, you know, having to jump in the shower and see other people nude. That was something I didn't want to do anyway. You had to, because, you know, you can't go to class thinking. But at the same time, it's like, I didn't even want to shower with the girls. So I know I would not have been cool with being forced to take showers with males in there. And you can't tell me that there wouldn't be something freaky going on in them showers if a boy decides he wants to shower with them. So the girls heard about his demand to shower. Now, mind you, there's 30 girls on this team. 30. To one dude who's talking about, I think I'm a girl, I believe I'm a girl, and I feel like I have the right to play with the girls, and I have the right to shower with them. Well, the 30 girls signed a petition saying, this ain't happening. We're not cool with this. That's one thing for you to play with us, but it's another thing for you to demand to shower with us. We ain't comfortable with that. Excuse me. Well, the LGBTQ community leaped on it heavy. And I didn't quite like the way they dealt with it. I felt like they owed the girls some respect. But they took a route that I think was wrong. They basically gave one bathroom stall. That's my cat, if you heard that noise. He's playing in his room. Anyway, they basically said that one bathroom stall is for the girls. And the boy gets to have the shower whenever he wants to. He has to shower to himself. Now, I'm sorry, but if I was there before him and I'd worked my butt off to get to where I was before he even joined the team, and then he comes in and causes so much of a controversy that we lose what we earned and worked hard for, and he gets all these added privileges just because he made this decision. No, 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 that's not happening. No, 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 no. See, me personally, a lot of people were saying, that they felt like it was fair what the LGBT community did, and all this. And my whole point is, you took away something from those girls who had been there and worked hard for everything that they got, only to try to use this boy to prove a point. And you took everything away from them that they earned, that they have a right to. So I basically said at that point, if I had a daughter that was in that situation, I would tell my daughter, you can quit. And if all those girls quit, guess what? He's the team by himself. Let's see how good he would be being the team all by himself. But see, I know that there are some girls who are very strong-willed, and even though they may not like what the LGBT community has done in response to this, they've worked so hard for what they have, and now here yet again, they're going to have to try to prove that just because he's there, they can deal with whatever comes. It shouldn't be that way. They've had to already do that, just being a female sport. They've had to work twice as hard to prove to people that they are just as worthy of recognition and achievement as male sports. But now here comes a male. I don't care what y'all say. He is a male who has now infiltrated their hard work, and he's changing things. And my whole thing is, why are you demanding to shower with them? It's like you're demanding to have access to something that otherwise you would not have access to. Seeing nude girls. See, just because you think you're a girl, or just because you say that, doesn't mean that's what you're attracted to. Doesn't mean that you're a guy who's attracted to other guys. You can still be attracted to girls and say that you identify as a girl and you're a guy. Who's going to stop you? But the question is, what are you going to do when you're in that shower and you're looking at all these girls with no clothes on? I mean, how do we know that you're not going to take it to that level? How do we know you're not going to be sitting in there getting your rocks off by looking at these girls shower? It just, something in the water ain't clean, y'all. I'm not cool with that. And I'm really disappointed that the school board would allow the LGBTQ community to take away from all the accomplishments that these girls have done as a female sporting team. It just kind of goes to show that everything that we've worked for, and what's really killing me is that I don't hear the feminists speaking up about this. The feminists then got quiet. It's like, how y'all gonna sit back and watch this happen over and over again and you not feel some type of way about that? Now, I'm not a feminist, but I used to play intramural basketball on a girls' team. And I know how hard it is to try to prove that girls' basketball can be just as interesting and just as competitive as male basketball. So I feel some type of way when boys infiltrate the team saying that they think they're girls and everybody accommodates them, because that changes the whole dynamic of everything that women have done to try to prove themselves. That's all I'm saying. Don't take away from us. If you want to be trans and say that you're a whole, we'll have a trans team. Get a whole transgender team. Let them compete on their own and work for the same status that everybody else had to work for. But why should they get to just intervene in everyone's area and change everything and take away from everyone's accomplishments? That's not fair. That's not fair. And I just don't hear people speaking up about that. So that's the issue that I have. The other thing that's going down that's very recent is Tia Mowry and her husband Corey Hardrick, they are divorcing after 14 years of marriage. Now, I don't really get into celebrity marriages too much. I mean, because let's just be honest, most celebrity marriages don't make it anyway. I mean, there's a few, exceptions to that rule, but very few. Most people who have a celebrity status and they marry another celebrity, sometimes they don't even have to marry a celebrity. Sometimes they marry some old Joe off the street. It's just something about a person who has a career where they are in front of everybody. I don't know what it is about that. Look, people who ain't even, let's just kick the ballistics. People who ain't even celebrities can't even make a marriage work. The divorce rate in this country and around the world is astronomical. That's one of the reasons why I'm so glad I never entered into that category, because I'm looking at people who are smart, educated, talented, gifted, some of the sweetest, nicest people you ever know, and their marriages are just straight up crumbling and falling apart. So when you got people who seem like they can do everything else in life right, but when it comes to marriage and relationships, they can't seem to get it together. When you become a celebrity, it's like it's on a whole nother level. It's like most celebrity marriages just don't make the cut. They just don't do it. And it doesn't mean that the people are bad people, or it just means that evidently marriage is really about being all in. Even when you don't feel like being all in, even when you don't want to be all in, you're supposed to be all in. And I think people just get to a point where they just say, that's it. I said I was all in, but I didn't count on this happening, or I didn't count on that happening, or I'm not going to put up with this no more. I didn't put up with it for this long. I ain't doing it no more. People just get to a point where they just say, that's it. I'm done. So from what I've heard, I don't really, like I said, I don't really know that much about Tia Mowry and her husband, Corey, but I do know that they made a point of letting everyone know that the way they met, she was a rich celebrity and he was a broke, struggling actor who was trying to get his name out there, and her name was already out there. Well, that right there is not a good way to start a marriage. That's not a good way to start a relationship. You both have to be at a certain point in your life where you're both contributing. And you could tell that every time he talked about that, about how he met her and how he was broke, and how he loved the fact that she did not judge him because he was broke. You can love that about a person, but that don't mean that you marry that person because you love that about them. Because just hearing him talk about his hesitancy when he decided to marry her, he said he was hesitant. Somebody interviewed him and he said he was hesitant because he felt like financially he was not ready to do it. So that right there, I mean, red flags were flying all over the place. And it looked like him and her either were pressuring each other or were getting pressure from other people to say, well, you guys are perfect for each other. You guys will make a wonderful, couple. Don't let money, be a problem. Don't let it be an issue. And if you try to act like money ain't an issue when that was the foundation, that was how you met. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you came together because he was broke and needed a ride. You and your sister gave him a ride. This is what they said. That him and her, Tia and her sister Tamara, were in a movie that Corey Hardrick was in. After the movie filming was over, they saw him standing at the bus stop and they gave him a ride. That's how they met. So that was the basis of their relationship, was this unevenness. She's rich, got money, her career's already at the top of the game, and here this dude is struggling, and he's had to work jobs where he was doing regular manual labor, and here she's rich. So you can't tell me that in the back of her mind that she didn't sort of always think, did he marry me just because I was already established and I had everything? Was that a comfort to him and something that he always felt not good enough? And did she feel like in some way he wasn't good enough on some level? I mean, you think about those type of things when you could be with somebody for 14 years. Now, actually, they lasted longer than I thought they would. After I heard how they met and how every time somebody asked them about their relationship, and he would always bring it back to the fact that he was broke and that he loved the fact that she didn't judge him. He said that so many times that I seriously think he was not ready to get married when he decided to marry her. And I think he was being pressured by her and by other people who just, and I mean, I don't mean that as a solely bad thing. It's just that when you listen to other people and you don't listen to your heart, when you let other people tap on your emotions, and I think that's what they did with both of them. I think that she knew that she really wanted a man that was financially stable, because that's the kind of background she came from, coming from a military family with the dad and the mom in the home, whereas her husband was the son of a single mother. You know, when you come from two different backgrounds like that, you have to be honest with yourself when you're dating and everything. If you know in the back of your mind that you have an issue with something about your partner, don't ignore that. Don't let people tap on your emotions and say, oh, well, don't let money become an issue. You two are a great couple. You can be a great couple, but you don't have to get married yet until the two of you are getting exactly what you want out of the relationship and you both feel that you're at the place where you can do that. I just think that they listened to other people influencing them to come together because everybody thought that they were a good match, but he felt inadequate. And in the back of her mind, she knew he was inadequate. And when you have that at the beginning of your marriage, you can try to play it off. You can try to ignore it. You can try to act like it ain't no big thing. But whatever was a problem in the relationship is eventually going to come back up again. It's like a lint ball or, a stain that you thought you got out. You see what I'm saying? And it's a stain that ain't going away. And that's what I think, that the way they started was the stain of their relationship. And they tried their very best to act as though that wasn't important. It wasn't a big deal. We'll get past it. And like I said, personally, I think they lasted longer than I ever thought they would. To be together for 14 years, you had to have loved him. He had to have loved you. But whatever was the problem in the beginning, I believe eventually that stain started coming through after 14 years. And you get to a point where you can't keep ignoring it. If you never dealt with that issue, if you never truly confronted that issue, and you've tried to do everything to act like that stain wasn't there, or you did everything you could to try to get rid of it, but you never acknowledged that it was bothering you, when that stain starts to show, eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to address it. And I think that's what's happening now. The fact that they both, say that they are going to be remaining friends and they're going to work together and co-parent their children, I think speaks to the maturity of both of them. I think they just married at the wrong time. I'm not going to say that they married the wrong person. I believe they were supposed to be married. I just think they jumped into it a little too quickly. They needed to really examine themselves before they got into it. And if that meant putting off the engagement, putting off the wedding until things stabilized better, and then if it never stabilized, he can still be your man. I mean, you can still be in a relationship with him, but he lives over here and you live over there. Who says that you have to cohabitate in the same place? You can love somebody and they live over here and you live over there, because you realize that this person ain't stable and they got to get themselves together first before we talk about sharing the same residence. I wish them the best. I just think that, when it comes to marriage and relationships, I think you really have to be a stickler about not letting other people tap on your emotions and put their opinions and things into your relationship. And I think that may have happened with them too. The last thing I'm going to talk about, I recently took a vacation to Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm going to do a video later where I will share pictures and video footage of the trip that I took. And what surprised me, because when I planned the trip, I actually planned the trip last year after I went to Oklahoma for my vacation. When I got back, the gas prices were cool. Last year, the gas prices were really, really cool. And I started looking up hotels and everything. And I knew I wanted to go to Memphis. I knew that there were several places that I wanted to see. And I planned my trip based on what the prices were last year. What kind of makes me angry is that right after I planned my trip, that's when we started getting into this gas price hike, and I started seeing the gas prices going from $2.75 to $3, and then $3.50, and then $4, and then $4.50. And I literally was this close, y'all, to canceling my trip. That's the first time I planned a trip and was on the cusp of canceling it simply because of gas prices. I had people, one of my friends, Jaisley, I was supposed to be going down because she was one of the people that lived in Tennessee, and I was supposed to be going down there to visit her and her husband. And I was going down there to see several places. And this was something that was a childhood thing for me. I had childhood desires with this trip in particular. There were certain things I wanted to see ever since I was a little kid. So it was very personal for me. And when these gas prices started spiking, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going. I'll just have to cancel this trip. But I knew how badly I wanted to go. So I started praying, y'all. I was like, Lord, look, I'm like, I really need to get away. I really need to have time to relax. I said, I only get one vacation a year. I'm not like most people who can take 2 and 3 vacations in 1 year. I only get one time a year to get away. And I'm like, Lord, I really want to go. I said, but the only way I'm going to be able to is these gas prices got to come down. The minute I prayed that, y'all, I started seeing the gas prices slowly come down. Because when I first made that prayer, gas prices here in the Midwest was almost $5. Some places it actually went up to like $5.03 a gallon. but probably the majority of the gas stations was like $4.79, somewhere like that. And I was like, there's no way in the world I'm going to pay $4.79 a gallon. And I got to drive, at least 10 hours to get to where I'm going. No way. And pay for a hotel room and food and all that. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm like, these prices got to go down. So the Lord started bringing them down. By the time I decided to go ahead and go through with my trip, the gas prices here in the Midwest had went down to like $3.30. Now I preferred like $2.50, $2.75, the same price they was last year. But I asked God to bring the prices down. And so he did. And so because he honored my request, I went ahead and went to Memphis, Tennessee. And when I got down there, y'all, I was so jealous. Because the gas prices down south are so much cheaper than they are up here. The gas in... The first time I seen the gas take a deep dive and become way cheaper was when I got into Arkansas. When I got into Arkansas, the gas went down to $2.55. When I got into Memphis, it went down to $2.30. You talk about, man, I had so much fun while I was down there. I had so much fun because I was able to go to everything that I wanted to see, and I didn't have to worry about whether I was going to have enough gas and whether I was going to be able to pay for the gas. I was able to just enjoy myself. Now, I'm going to tell you the places that I hit, the things that I seen, and like I said, I will do another video where I will share pictures and experience, my personal experience of stuff. The biggest, most main reason that I chose Memphis was because when I was 12 years old, my mother took us to Memphis, Tennessee. I grew up Church of God in Christ. And anyone who knows about Church of God in Christ knows that the world headquarters for the Church of God in Christ organization is in Memphis, Tennessee, Mason Temple Church of God in Christ. And my mother used to go to the convocation that they would have down there. She went one year when me and my brother were very little, and I remember she left us with one of my aunties while she went out of town. When I was 12 and my brother was 10, she took us with her that time when she went. So that was my first time ever going to Memphis when I was 12 years old. And I remember we took a tour bus to Graceland. I remember sitting in the tour bus and I remember looking up the hill and seeing the mansion. And my mother would not let me and my brother. We begged her, Mama, please, can we go up? We knew who Elvis was. We had seen his movies. We had seen his performances on TV, and so we wanted to see Graceland. And we looking up at the mansion and, for little kids, who've never seen a house that big, we was like, ooh, we wanted to go in there. My mother said, no, we're not. She didn't want to walk up the hill. And back then, there were no restrictions. If you was willing to walk up the hill to the mansion, you could do that. And my mother didn't want to do that. So there was this 12-year-old girl inside of me that felt cheated because I felt like I had the opportunity to see Graceland and my mother took that opportunity away from me. So I always wanted to see Graceland. I also wanted to see Alex Haley's childhood home. Alex Haley was a hero to me. When Roots premiered on TV, me and my brother and my mom, we watched that every night when it premiered. We didn't watch it as reruns. We actually were watching it when it actually premiered on TV. And when I was 14, I read the book, Roots. And then I read Malcolm X. The way that man wrote, his books were way better than the movies. And you know, the movies were good. So he inspired me to want to be a writer. I do poetry and stuff. Number one, because God gave me the gift. But number two, God used Alex Haley to make me want to go deeper than just doing poetry, to actually write stories and create characters. I wouldn't have even thought about doing that if it wasn't for Alex Haley. So seeing his childhood home, seeing something about him was definitely something I wanted to do. And I know y'all gonna really laugh, but I don't care. Another one that another place I went to see and had to was Nutbush, Tennessee, which y'all know that's where Miss Diva, Miss Legs, Miss Hair, Miss Rolling on the River with Ike, Miss Tina Turner. That's where she was born. That's where she was raised. Was Nutbush, Tennessee. And so there's no way in the world I was going to come to Tennessee and see Graceland and see Alex Haley's place and not see where Tina Turner was born. And yes, I did get to Nutbush. It was I had a ball. The last place that I went was the Emmett Till Memorial. That was important to me too, because I was 11 years old when my mother told me about Emmett Till. And I've seen every documentary and I've seen every TV, movie, Netflix thing that they've ever done about Emmett Till. The only thing I have not seen is this newest movie that's coming out called Till, that's supposed to be in the movie theaters. I do want to see that. I'm kind of, I hate to say it, but I'm questioning, based on the fact that I have studied the life of Emmett Till. I have researched it as far as I possibly can. So I know quite a bit about it. And I'm just kind of curious as to whether this movie is going to be accurate, this newest movie. I'm just kind of curious as to whether it's going to be accurate or whether it's going to be filled with wokeism. And I can't, when wokeism is involved in anything, that it's an opinion, not fact. And I want facts. If you're going to do a story of a young Black man who was murdered, you better be factual in what you do. I don't want sensationalism. I don't want razzle dazzle, and I don't want wokeism. I want facts. So I'm purposely going to go see this movie because I'm going to be analyzing it through and through. When I seen who the girl was, it was some young Black girl that decided to, do this film. I'm not knocking no one's hustle. I mean, if she's good at what she does, great, but she better be factual. Don't play on emotions. And see, Emmett Till's life is one of those situations that can play with your emotions, because all of us who are Black come from that history. Our history comes with Emmett Till mixed in. You see what I'm saying? And it's easy to take what happened to him and play with the wokeism to get you to feel some type of way. I don't want that. I want the truth. You tell the truth and I'll support you all the way. But if you come with that wokeism crap, trying to get people's emotions manipulated and get people to, then you're gonna hear from me. You're gonna hear complaints about it. Because look, I've said it time and time again. We as African Americans, we've been through a lot, but we have got to stop using our struggle as an excuse for us not progressing. If we're not progressing, we can't keep blaming other people for our non progress. For all this wokeism that everybody's talking about, our communities are still dying. There are murders that are happening every day and we're being killed. See, the reason why I don't like wokeism is because you play with my emotions and you use the fact that racism was a part of our past. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist in our present, situations, but more African Americans are killed by their own people than they are by somebody white. And if wokeism ain't gonna deal with the real, the facts, then you can keep what you're saying. I'm not trying to hear you. Don't use white racism as a blanket to play with my emotions and make me feel comfortable, because that's not going to work. I'm like, no, reality is that most of the Black people in Black communities are being killed by their own people. And if you ain't going to deal with that, then you can take that wokeism and toss it right off the cliff, because it ain't doing nothing to better our communities. It's just playing with people's emotions. You know that we have been victims of racism. You know that we have come from civil rights struggles, Jim Crow struggles, slavery struggles. And if you keep taking that and using that to try to tell us we have to keep comforting ourselves with that, we have to keep using that as a way to feel like we're going to accomplish something, but yet we're turning a blind eye to our own brothers and sisters who are picking up weapons and killing us. How can you talk about one without dealing with the other? All I can say to wokeism is tell your crap to the mothers and fathers who have lost their sons and daughters to someone else's Black son and daughter. You come to them with that crap, because that's I guarantee you they ain't gonna try to hear you either, because they've lost their child at the hands of someone of the same race. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going to see the Till movie. I'm going to check it out. But the Emmett Till Memorial, oh my gosh. And there are two. For those of y'all that don't know, there are two memorials. It's not just one, there's two. I didn't find this out till I got down to the first site, and it is in Greenwood, Mississippi, which if you're in Memphis, that's 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I had to drive 2 hours and 30 minutes to get to Greenwood, Mississippi. And I'll have to do another video to tell my experience about that. It was very cathartic for me. But the second Emmett Till Memorial is 20 miles away in a town called Glendora, Mississippi. And Glendora, where he was actually murdered at. Like I said, be on the lookout for my video about my trip. I will go into deep detail of everything that I saw, everything that I did. I will share pictures and whatever video footage that I have. This was also the first trip that I took where I did not take my video camera. And yes, I do have video footage, but I had to do it with my cell phone. And I remember, because me not taking my video camera was a mistake. I forgot to pack it in the car and didn't realize till I think I was in Springfield, Missouri, when I realized that, oh my God, my camera got left. But then when I got down there, practically everything that I saw basically said you can't bring video camera in here. You can't take video footage. So it was almost like God was saying, she, it's pointless for her to bring this because no place is not going to let her bring it in. especially Graceland. You could not bring no video cameras in Graceland, and you could not have a camera that had a flash on it. They told people that if you had your cell phones, you could take pictures, but that you could not have a flash. And giving you a heads up for those of y'all who may want to go to Graceland, they have 4 Elvis experiences. I paid for the second one, where I see the mansion, his airplanes, his cars, his clothes, and his gold records. But you can just see his planes, his cars, his gold records. But I saw the mansion as well as all those other stuff. My experience was $77. The one where you just see his planes and his cars and his stuff, I think is $45. If you want to see the mansion, the cars, the gold records, the clothes, and have a personal tour guide, and you ride on your own VIP bus, which means you skip the line of all of the other people, you get to go and see all that stuff before everybody else. You're VIP. That's $128. Now, I like the Elvis and all, but honey, he ain't worth no $128. I was like, forget that. I'll pay $77 just so I can see. And the mansion was the biggest thing I wanted to see. I didn't necessarily care to see his cars and his planes and his gold records. I didn't really care to see all of that. The mansion was what I felt I got cheated out of when my mom wouldn't let me go up there. So that's where that came from. I just wanted to see the mansion. And I will definitely share everything that I saw. Also, another heads up to those who may want to go to Graceland. Any pictures you take, you cannot post them to social media without Graceland's permission. Now, if you have a picture, now here's what's weird. If you have a picture of you in the mansion or standing in front of something of Elvis and your face is in it, no one's going to say anything because your face is in it. But if you're just taking like regular actual pictures of the actual thing, you're not allowed to post that without Graceland's permission. I don't know why that is, but that was something when everyone showed up at the mansion and everyone had their cell phones out. They made sure to let us all know that any pictures you take that you are not in, and you can't take selfie sticks. And see me, I don't need a selfie stick. I know how to take myself on and, I know how to do my pose on. I don't need a selfie stick for that. But some people like selfie sticks because they're more sturdy. They don't wiggle. The chances of you dropping your phone are, least, they're less than trying to hold it in your hand. So, but you can't have a selfie stick at Graceland. So I'm just kind of letting you know the little ins and outs so that you can decide whether you want to go. It is an experience. What surprised me, and like I said, all this I'll say in my other video, but I do want to say that a lot of people said that Elvis was racist when he was young. I don't necessarily know whether that's true because he was long dead and gone by the time I was aware of who he was. So he was already dead, But my mother said that he had said some racist things about Black people. I think one of the things my mama told me that he said was that there was nothing that a Black man could do for him but shiny shoes. Now, I don't know whether that's true. I don't know whether my mother just said that or whether that was a true statement. I don't know. But get this. I don't know how Elvis would feel about this if he was alive and knew. Practically everybody that I saw that was working at Graceland, and that means working in the gift shop, working in the mansion, because they had people that worked in the mansion, people that were sitting there to make sure that you didn't flash photos, that you didn't take video footage, that you did not try to go into areas because there's certain parts of the mansion that you can't go in. And so they had people sitting there watching to make sure that you didn't go where you were supposed to go. So, but everybody I saw was Black. I did not see any white workers. Now, that does not mean that there aren't any white workers. Maybe they worked a different shift, because I was there from 11:30 to 2:30. That's how long my tour was, from 11:30 to 2:30. So there may have been white people that worked there, but I'm telling you, they had so many black people working there, and them black people knew about Elvis. I mean, they was able to recite his records. They was able to recite what year, he got this Grammy and that Grammy. And I mean, they was on it. And I can't knock that. If you're creating work for African Americans and helping black people to be able to support themselves, hey, especially if you was a racist. That's what I'm saying. I don't know whether he really was, and it would be really kind of curious to know how he would feel knowing that his house has all these black people in it. His businesses that he started that are now at the gift shop and stuff, how he would feel about all of that being run by African Americans. I mean, it was an experience. If you haven't been to Graceland, if you haven't been to Nutbush, Tennessee, and there is a museum, Tina Turner Museum, but you have to drive 15 minutes outside of Nutbush to get to the Tina Turner Museum. If you haven't been to Alex Haley's childhood home, which is in Henning, Tennessee, and Henning, Tennessee is only 15 minutes away from Nutbush. So if you can hit those places, that I think that's what shocked me most of all about my trip, was that it didn't take me long to get to all of the different places that I wanted to get to. Even though Memphis is a big, city, it did not take me long to get anything. Oh, I forgot. I also went to the Civil Rights Museum. I went to the Lorraine Motel where Martin Luther King was assassinated. And I'm not even going to get into that, because I'm going to save that for my actual video, because there was an experience that happened there that I was not very happy about. It was very saddening and heartbreaking, but I don't want to get into that now. I thank you all for listening to my feelings and my comments. This, like I said, this video should have happened a while back, but after I came back from my trip, I was sick as a dog. No, it was not COVID. I think I just caught a bug. Because I seen everything. I was down there for 3 days, and I hit all those different places and saw all those different things in 3 days. So I think I kind of pushed my body, a little further than I should have. And I think I kind of paid the price, because when I came back, I was sick. I'm over it now. I'm back to normal, back to work. But it was an experience that I am grateful to God that he allowed me to be able to go. And if you've never been to Memphis, if you've never been to Greenwood, Mississippi, or Glendora, Mississippi, or Nutbush, Tennessee, or Henning, Tennessee, please go and check those places out. You will not be disappointed. And just to let you guys know, my first trip for 2023 is already in the works. Guess where I'm planning to go? I'm planning to go to Paisley Park. I am going to Prince's house. Yes, I am. To see where he last took his breath, to see the place where he created, not only lived, but where he created his music. He had his studio in his house. So all the wonderful music that he created through the years was done in that house. Ain't no way in the world I'm not going to see that house. God willing, if they turned it into a museum, I'm hoping that his family, because I heard that there is some backlash within his family, where some of the family wants to use his house to make money and some family want to shut it down. You can't tell a family what to do in that situation. So however his family chooses to deal with it, you have to respect it. But I'm hoping they at least don't do it till I get there. Let me see, because I was crazy about Prince when I was in high school, and I would love to see his home and see, you know, where he created, you know, all of his music, and just to see how he lived. You know, I would love to see that. So that's in the works for 2023. But I thank you guys for, you know, just checking in and keeping up with me. I'm not like all of these other YouTubers who can just pop out videos, you know, twice a day or once a day. My job just takes up a lot of my time, and I just really don't have time to do that. But I really want to reconnect after my vacation, and after I started feeling better, I wanted to reconnect with everyone. So thank you for hanging out with me. All right, I'm about to end this. And until my next video, like I said, until my next video where I talk about my trip and I share my pictures and everything, y'all just keep hanging in there, and I'll see ya.
If you like my vibe, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Till the next time, see ya.